Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our weekly Sunday DFS Tailgate with my homies, Mr. Bo McBigtime, the king of the hot sauce, the man that brings the heat every week, Mr. Chalk Blocked himself. And down below me, we've got Mr. Cough DFS, Conor Coughlin, who I've known for a very long time and love to get to see his pretty beautiful face every Sunday. You guys are bearded. I'm not today. I will be mustached next week, though, for Movember. It's going to be a blast, and well, it's going to be a lonely month for me. Just put it.
You got to get like a full-on feather duster, man. Like full.
Oh no, dude,
duster.
that's too much like Jen's
Sam
dad.
Elliott. Like Sam
no, I'm
Elliott.
doing the. I'm going Bill the Butcher, bro. Like I'm gonna twist
The dude
that.
abides.
The dude abides. So I'll be mustache just to prep everybody. If you need to like black out my portion of the stream just so they don't scare you. Yeah, we're here to talk some DFS. We've got some Underdog, we've got some Monkey Knife Fight, we've got some Draftkings, which is going to be so much fun. We're going to get you in and out here so you have some time to set your lineups. We're going to give you some stuff to play. Guys, how are we doing this morning? I think you guys are hungover. Yeah. I'm not.
I got my cat coffee mug. It says "Fluff you fluff and fluff." Quit stressing me out.
Well,
Nate, is it actually a hangover if it's just perpetual?
No, I think then it just becomes that's how you are. That's you. It's you.
As Jack Black said in the School of Rock, it's not a hangover if you're still drunk. It's only a hangover if you were drunk yesterday.
Yes. So you guys are actually probably both in the clear, considering you both went to bed like this morning. Sound about right. So, all right, guys, well, let's get into it. We've got a lot of interesting things to talk about. We've got some stacks. We've got some more stacks. We've got some DFS plays. So let's get to it. We're going to start out with Underdog. If you have not played on Underdog Fantasy, now is a great time. What they're currently doing is with the promo code IBT, you can sign up and they will 100% match your deposit up to $100. Anything from $10 to $100, they're going to match it. You're going to have money to play. It's an instant match, unlike some platforms that make you wait to roll it out, make sure you're going to stick around. They're giving it to you right away, and you're going to want to stick around because this platform's awesome. They've got pick'ems. They've got daily contests, 6-man, 3-man, 2-man, anywhere from $3 to $1,000 if you want to get in. It's a fantastic deal, and it's a little bit different than everything else out there. All right, guys, well, let's get into it with our first segment, Underdog Stories. All right, guys, so we're going to start off with some Underdog pick'ems. If you're not familiar with how the pick'ems on Underdog work, you can pick up to 5 props and you can win 20 times your money. So you put in $5, you land on all 5 prop picks, you make $100. Is there a better deal than that? There really isn't. And it's not, these aren't insanely difficult props. They're not wild numbers. These are attainable.
It's definitely not difficult if I won this year on one of these.
Oh, Bo. All right. So I'm going to start with my first pick here for the pick'em this week. My first prop. We've got Myles Gaskin over under 62.5 rushing yards. I'm taking the under on that one because Myles Gaskin is yeah. And I just feel like it's a matchup where he's not going to do anything. So
most of them are like that.
Yeah, most of them are like that. So that's my first one. My second one, we've got Stephon Diggs. We've got over under on 6.5 receptions. I am smashing the over on that one.
Yes.
Dawson Knox is out.
Yep.
Dawson Knox is out.
And Josh Allen loves himself some Stephon Diggs.
Well, you would too if you were a quarterback. I mean, come on now. Yeah.
If I was.
If you were, you're not a quarterback.
I'm not a quarterback.
Come on, we know you're not a quarterback, buddy.
I miss Diggs every single weekend of Vikings
only
football.
Because I'm left-handed.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, left-handed. There's other. So you don't like Tua then, huh? Is that what you're trying to say here?
No, he's a little Steve Young wannabe. Knockout Steve Young.
All right, guys. So my third one, I've got Najee Harris. We're over under 106 rushing plus receiving yards. That's an easy one for me. Smash that over on Najee Harris. You've got to do it. I mean, there's just no way around it.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody disagreeing with me here?
Not at all.
You know,
It's a tight line, but I think he's primed to do that pretty easily.
I agree. Obviously, that's why I picked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so number 4, we've got Jamar Chase. Over under 5.5 receptions. I'm taking the over on that one. Oh, Bo disagrees.
He's only done that 3 times this year.
He's going to do it again this week.
Are you sure?
I think so.
I'm with Bo. I don't think so.
I think T. Higgins gets most of the volume here. Mixon gets a good run of it because if we know anything about the Jets, is they are atrocious across the board.
Yep.
And yes, they look good on paper against opposing wide receivers, but then you dig deeper and it's just because they're getting blown out so much the whole game that the other teams that don't throw the ball at all in the second half. We saw that last week with the Patriots, is they couldn't even help themselves but score more touchdowns, even with J.J. Taylor, who's smaller than my daughter. And so when you make J.J. Taylor look like a goal line back, what is Joe Mixon going to be?
Well, that's fair. That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I think Mixon and P. Ryan and even CJ Uzoma are going to get to that 5.5 reception threshold. T. Higgins is going to smash that. Tyler Boyd's going to smash that. Jamar Chase is their home run hitter, and he hasn't really been heavily targeted in any game this year.
That's fair.
5.5 is steep. I would rather take his yardage prop because the guy hits it on one catch just about every week.
Well, his yardage prop wasn't an option this week, Bo. It was the receptions only on Underdog. So I just think against this Jets team,
what's not there, Bo.
I think that I just think that Cincinnati's gonna this is a statement. We're gonna take a bad team and we're gonna put up 50 plus points on you, and a big part of that's gonna be Jamar Chase. So
nice.
Yeah. I think New England did it last week. Cincinnati wants to prove they're an elite class team, and the way to do that is to absolutely destroy the Jets. And I think part of that's Jamar Chase getting 7 to 10 catches. So,
I'm here for it. I just don't know if he'll get there.
We'll see. So my final one, I think this one's a pretty easy one. Even with Matt Nagy not coaching the Bears this week, we've got Justin Fields over under on 188.5 passing yards. I'm taking the under on that one.
Ooh. With the 49ers secondary?
Yep. I think they're going to run the ball more. I think they're going to stick with Khalil Herbert. I think they're going to use Damian Williams a little bit. I think they're going to be the kings of the short pass to try and get Fields comfortable, which they should have been doing from the freaking beginning anyway. And I don't think he's going to have more than, I'd even take the under on 175 passing yards, which isn't a huge gap, but I'd take that.
Low number.
I agree, but it's Justin Fields, man. And in this offense, this is what they need to be doing to get him comfortable, in my opinion. And I think they'll do that this week because someone smarter than Matt Nagy is running that team finally for at least 1 week.
So
you're not equipment manager. It's not a horrible train of thought.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting one to pick, but I'm taking it. I like it. I think it's a little sneaky. I think it's a little sexy for me. I like it. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Gets the juices flowing, does it?
I had a couple different ones. I had 5 overs this week as well. I even put $10 in, so I'm trying to get $200.
Ooh.
But Cooper Kupp over 7.5 receptions.
Oh,
he's
easy.
He's only missed that twice this year.
Yep.
And he's smashed it every other week this year. We're talking 13 targets every week. He's bound to get 7-8 catches in the first half, maybe.
Yep.
Houston's another team like the Jets where they just get obliterated every week. So you don't see a lot of teams keep their foot on the accelerator. I think the Rams are that team where they don't give a fuck about the actual margin of victory. They just want to put their offense on the field, score touchdowns on every drive, and clock out when the clock hits 000, then they stop.
Yep.
And so, give me the Rams, all the overs. The other one that I think is just an incredibly easy one that I'm going to have to really focus on is Deontay Johnson over 69.5 receiving yards. This Browns secondary is getting lit up. And Deontay Johnson's the only show in town. Juju Smith-Schuster is not vulturing any targets with his 5-yard hitch routes. You have Najee Harris getting his receiving yards and rushing yards. He's an easy over too, but Cleveland's defense isn't as good as people think it is. They looked great against the Bears, but I mean everybody has.
Yeah, right.
But the secondary is getting lit up, And Deontay Johnson is getting force-fed every game that he's been in there, except for 2 weeks ago where he had 2 targets and a touchdown added on. He's had 10-plus targets. And so 69.5 yards where he's going to get 10, 12 targets, that's easy.
Yeah, I agree. And this is a division rival. So, like, you want to blow Cleveland out. It's just kind of the way it goes. So, yeah, I like that, man. Deontay Johnson, I think this whole Cleveland team's prime. I'm starting Pat Freiermuth in season long a few places. I mean, over some guys like Jonnu Smith. So, yeah, I think this Cleveland offense is going to be a boon. All right, what else you got for us, man? Is that it? Is that all you got?
Yeah, I have to switch out my Calvin Ridley prop somehow, but it's
Oof.
or is it just they drop it off the bet, so I think so.
Gotcha.
I'll be playing for less money.
All right, guys.
Yeah, they could just auto cancel it for you.
Yeah. All right, guys.
They won't let you adjust it once you confirm it. Sorry.
No, you're fine. All right, guys. Let's move on to our next segment. We've got a knife to a gunfight. All right, guys. Monkey Knife Fight is actually our newest sponsor. Talk about this real quick. Awesome prop betting. They've got tons of awesome contests on Monkey Knife Fight. If you haven't checked it out, now is a great time. We have the promo code IBT for Monkey Knife Fight. We're very excited about this partnership. I know that Seth and Third and Short worked on it for quite a while to get us there, and we're stoked to be here. Get a free $5 game when you sign up with the promo code IBT. And like Underdog, 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So again, sign up with that promo code IBT. Get out there, get into some Monkey Knife Fight. Bo, I think you've got some stuff for us for Monkey Knife Fight.
I do. I went crazy, like literal lunacy with my. I have a 10-legger going in there for $10 to win $5,000 this week.
Ooh!
And so, do I think it's going to hit? Absolutely. I think I'm going to win $5,000 on Monkey Knife Fight this week. And I'll go through it quickly because it's 10-legger. Matthew Stafford over 290.5 passing yards. Just like we said before, the Rams aren't going to let off the throttle at all. And so 290.5, he's been over that just about every game this year. Josh Allen over 284.5, same thing. I think they're going to just pepper the ball down the field through the air. Zach Moss is going to get more receiving yards than rushing yards in this game. And so I just think the Bills and the Rams are going to be chucking the rock all over the yard and hit my over props. Those are the really tough ones to hit. Derrick Henry over 109.5 rushing yards. I mean, he had one bad game where it was like, okay, we got this game in hand. Let's give the big fella a break. And now the big fella's fresh, and he's facing a team he scored 22 fantasy points on in week 3 without a touchdown. I like those odds.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with Stafford comes Cooper Kupp over 95.5. That's a stone cold lead pipe lock. And then I have a less with Matt Ryan under 280.5. This looks especially good now without Calvin Ridley in the fray.
Yep.
This is also a tougher passing defense with Carolina that they're facing. It's going to be tough for him to get to 280.5 without Ridley. And then over 82.5 rushing yards for Darrell Henderson. This is a smash spot for Darrell Henderson. They're going to lean on him in the second half to do it all. He's a great receiver too, but the rushing prop, I think he's going to hit because he's a home run threat. He's going to be that guy that takes the ball the distance on at least one of his carries. And then Jamar Chase, your boy, over 89.5 receiving yards.
Easy.
Yeah, so that's where I was thinking about. I was like, oh, you didn't take the yardage prop? No, it's different site. And then Joe Burrow over 265.5. That one's super low. I'm really shocked at that. He's popped 400 a couple times this year. And this isn't one of the matchups where I'm really afraid of him going low in the passing yards.
I kind of want to know where that number is coming from because I got almost that exact same number on here too. Like that seems really low.
It really does.
It's a teaser. It's like oh yeah, stick your toe in the water. We got Joe Burrow at 265.5.
I just hope somebody got to know something that we don't.
I'm actually going under 255.5 for Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Goff is another guy that lately, after his first 2 games where he went over 300 pretty easily, he's been under 250 quite a bit this season. And then I'll finish up with Stephon Diggs over 88.5 receiving yards. This is his breakout game. This is the game where him and Josh Allen put on an absolute show. And so 10-legger to win $5,000. Got to get all of them right to get something. I'm either going to get a $10 donation to Monkey Knife Fight, or I'm going to win $5,000 and have a nice anniversary week next week.
Well, let's hope you win that $5,000.
Yeah, I'm only 1 or 2 off of you two on that same 10 leg. So IBT is making some money this week, maybe.
Yeah, let's hope, man.
I got a quick rapid fire for you on the early slate. Rapid fire is another game style that Monkey Knife has, basically head-to-head player props. Going on the early slate this week, I got Josh Allen over Matt Stafford, and they're giving Allen 11.5 passing yards more. So I think that's no-brainer.
Yeah.
I got Nick Chubb over Derrick Henry. They're giving Chubb an extra 25.5 rushing yards. So
is nice.
Yeah, without that 25.5, I think it's Henry all day. But I think that 25.5 keeps it interesting.
Number to add to a guy like Chubb.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, and especially considering no Hunt. I mean, it's going to be.
And Baker Mayfield only has one arm, like literally one arm. He's a perfect Halloween prop.
I mean, do we think Baker even makes it through the whole game?
Probably. He's a tough dude.
Yeah,
they had to force him off the field to inactivate him.
That's true. That's true.
Then we got Cooper Kupp over Jamar Chase for receiving yards. I think that one's closer, but I think it's Kupp. Kupp's just been out of control. And then Diggs over Johnson, just overall receptions. They're giving Deontay Johnson 0.5 reception. So, I mean,
enough.
Yeah. So Diggs is going to crush that. And then I got Cooks over DJ Moore for overall receptions. They're giving Cooks an extra 1.5. So
yeah, I don't hate that.
I think that's close, but I like that one.
Jalen Ramsey matchup this today, so that's something to look out for. But still, it's a very narrow route tree there because besides Cooks, they have literally nobody at wide receiver.
Right?
No, they have no one.
And that's a 20xer too. $5 to win $100.
Yes,
I don't hate that.
Nope.
No. So
awesome.
We've been pretty sharp on these too all season. So
you have been. I mean, I think
pretty confident that we're both going to hit.
Yeah,
because we're both super smart and good looking, and we're due. And
people like us,
and we deserve it.
Gosh darn it! Oh man. All right, guys. So there we are. You've got some nice stacks there for you for Monkey Knife Fight, and I think now we're gonna move on to King of the Crop.
Best not live.
All right, folks, we don't have a promo code for Draftkings. Maybe we'll get there someday. We'll be cool enough. But for now, we're just going to tell you what we think you should do this week with your Draftkings lineups. We're going standard lineup. We're going standard contest. None of the tricky contests for this one. Maybe we'll talk a showdown or something or other at the very end if we have time. But guys, let's talk some Draftkings.
Oh, yeah. This is my forte. I love the stacks. I didn't get a chance because Hammerjacks was in Nashville celebrating something with his son, so he was out of order for this week for a spicy stack show. So I'm sitting on a couple spicy stacks. Are you guys ready for this?
I don't know. I think so.
So
I'm going to try to be.
Every week I have a spendy stack and a left for dead stack. So I have a stack that costs a lot of money, and it's gonna take up pretty much your whole salary cap, but you can fill in with value plays, and it's gonna shoot for the moon. That stack actually this week is not the Bills stack; it's the Rams stack, where I'm going with your guy Matthew Stafford, and then I'm going with Cooper Kupp because he's expensive as all hell, $9,000. And I'm going to throw in Tyler Higbee. Even though I hate Tyler Higbee, he's a pile of turds for a tight end. But the Houston Texans are 32nd out of 32 teams at defending that position that Tyler Higbee does an okay job of playing. So I'm going to double stack that and run it back with David Johnson, of all people, not Brandon Cooks.
I've got a bunch of David Johnson.
Yeah,
I have a bunch of David Johnson.
Is actually an insult to a player of his former pedigree. He was really good in 2017, and he looked pretty decent last week. He was lined up as a receiver a lot. I like those receiving points that he's probably going to get, especially now that Mark Ingram's not there to steal his snaps away. Philip Lindsay's not that great of a receiver. He is as dynamic as he is as a ball carrier. He doesn't have good hands. David Johnson does, and I think David Johnson's going to get a lot of snaps. And he's gonna catch 5 or 6 balls in a 4,200 correlated with the Rams obliterating Houston. Give me that spend up stack with Stafford, Kupp, and Higbee, and a little David Johnson sprinkled in. It's kind of weird, but I'm a little kinky.
I don't hate it though. You're chasing volume here, and that's the smart play, especially with David Johnson, because he's going to see volume. Is he going to score? Probably not, but maybe. But if you get that volume with David Johnson as a fill-in for as cheap as he is, I love that. And dude, I don't hate the Tyler Higbee call. I feel like he's due for a touchdown this week.
Or two. Sometimes he'll go 5 weeks without scoring anything, and then he'll come out of the woodworks with 3 touchdowns. And you're like, okay, why did they even throw to him?
Right.
Well, and David Johnson too, something that I think probably maybe people aren't realizing as much is he's actually been targeted a lot in the passing game, like a lot. I mean, he's averaging about 6 targets a week right now, though he's not receiving technically all of those. I mean, he is being targeted a lot. And I think we already talked about it with Brandon Cooks a little bit. Like the offense has got to go through somebody. And I think it's going to be David Johnson this week. I mean, as crazy as that is to say.
I don't think it's crazy
20th.
at all.
Yeah, the Rams are only 20th best against running backs. So,
I just meant it's David Johnson. Like I can't. It's crazy that we both have him.
It's a weak spot for the Rams defense. Like we think that this is a juggernaut defense, and they are against the pass. Their secondary is really good. Their pass rush is really good, but they're undersized up front, and their linebackers are terrible. Like they're so thin. Linebacker, and they went and made a trade with the Broncos this week for a linebacker. Gave away a linebacker to the Broncos, who are even more starving for a linebacker. And the Rams didn't replace him with anybody. They're basically saying, "Hey, we don't have any running linebackers, but we like 6th round picks for some reason."
Who doesn't love that magical 6th round pick?
But it's just for me. I like the matchup better than you would think. On like looking at it on the surface, you're like, "Why the hell would you play anybody against the Rams?" And that's because he's going to be the only guy that's not covered by Jalen Ramsey that's any good.
Yep. Fair.
And
Connor.
Speaking of the Broncos, that's a stack that I actually kind of like this week. I'm kind of messing around with some Bridgewater Jerry Jeudy stacks. Let you get Fant in there too. And I mean, Nate, you're our resident Broncos guy. How you feeling about the Broncos?
Oh, like they're a big pile of doo-doo, but I don't. With getting Jerry Jeudy back is kind of a big deal for Teddy B. I mean, huge deal for Teddy Bridgewater. So, I mean, maybe this is the week that they kind of blow it out and look good against Washington. That's what I'm really hoping for, and I think that's a smart stack, especially Noah Fant's going to see some work.
Speaking of doo-doo, Washington secondary.
Oh, they're awful. They're awful. So this should be a good day for Denver. Of course, we thought that when they played Oakland. And nope. Las Vegas.
I have more Broncos stacks than any other stack on the board this week.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
noted.
so you and I both. And I, here's the thing too, is I like that you're able to bring it back with like McLaurin. I mean, so like Gibson. Yeah. I mean, I like the players that you're able to stack up in this game. Like there's just a lot of high ceilings on a lot of these guys. In what I imagine to be a fairly, I guess, uninspiring football game.
Will I be watching
but
this
I think
one?
there's going to be some points. And it's not a sexy game, like I said. So I think there's a really good opportunity to get some leverage on the rest of the, especially if mass entering. Like I think the Broncos is a kind of a tricky way to attack.
Yeah. I like that.
It'll save you money too, because even Cortland Sutton in a smash spot is only 6,400. So I'm all about that. Judy at 49 is a 1 week let's see price. Noah Fant also 4,900 is up there for the tight end pricing, but still it's mid price for if you go back to previous slates where you had Waller and Kelsey on there. 4,900 is kind of a semi bargain, especially for what Fant can do against a terrible Washington secondary. Teddy B's got lots of weapons. He might not be good, but he doesn't have to be good if he just gets the ball to one of these weapons, because they're going to make him look good. They're going to make his stat line look good.
No, I love it. I love that. I love that call. And I hope you guys are right, man. Just for my boys here.
You want my Left 4 Dead stack because it's gross?
Yes, I do.
Let's get
Hallows
Eve.
Is it a jet stack? Do you have a jet stack?
Not that gross. Not that gross. Not a Mike White and Michael Carter stack.
Mike White, Michael Carter, and Elijah
I do
Moore.
have some Michael Carter this week in some lineups. Not gonna lie,
too, but I'm not playing Mike White. It seems like they ran out of names for his character on NCAA 14, and it's just the name that came out on the computer generator.
Yeah, he's a creative player.
His quarterback number, or whatever jersey number he is, and he changed his name to Mike White just for appearances.
Couldn't get the licensing for his real name.
Right. Like Joe Young for Barry Bonds back in the day.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's the Bears stack. I think the 49ers defense is in trouble. They have a ton of holes in their secondary. And I think this is the game without Matt Nagy anywhere near this team. They can finally flourish and blossom as a football team. And we've seen them play well this year. Khalil Herbert ran for 100 yards last week against the Buccaneers, and nobody has done that in a long, long time. And you have a 5th round rookie from Virginia Tech do it. As what was started the season as a 3rd string running back, and he goes out there and does the unthinkable and rushes for 100 yards against Tampa Bay. I think Khalil Herbert has a huge game against the 49ers. Justin Fields is only $5,000. I don't need a lot out of him. I think he's going to run the ball a little bit more himself, and I'm bringing back A-Rob. Everybody is dropping A-Rob this week. Give me 6 or 7 targets for A-Rob with his talent at 4,900. And nobody in the world is going to have Fields, A-Rob, and Herbert on their team. Nobody. And then I can fill in all the studs I want.
All right. I don't hate that. I mean,
Connor hates it. Connor is livid over there.
He looks livid.
He's steaming. He's steaming with anger.
No,
he's
I'm
about
disappointed because I can't argue with you about anything this week. I have stacks almost identical to what you just said. I mean, Either we're both incredibly smart and we're going to win all of the money this week,
or
I'm going to lean towards the but I'm optimistic.
I mean, the thing.
I really like Herbert though, and that was a key piece to that I wanted to touch on. I think people that look at the numbers like we do before Bo jumps down my throat and tells me, obviously people know this. But I don't think a lot of people realize how good he's played the last couple of weeks.
20 points, 19 and 20 in back-to-back weeks as a rookie
for
the Bears.
Yeah, and you look at it, I mean, we had 75 yards week 5, 97 yards week 6, 100 yards week 7, just on the rushing side. He's been targeted at least 3 to 5 times per game in the pass game. So, I mean, the usage is pretty nice. And the efficiency with him is super good. So, I mean,
he's a great back. Like I had him ranked above a lot of these other rookie backs coming into the season. And when he went to Chicago, I really did say this. I was like, hey, watch out for Damian Williams losing his damn job. I thought that even if Monty stayed healthy, that they were going to see how good Herbert was as a dual threat receiving and rushing back. He's kind of a little Montgomery clone out there. And Williams, for as good as he's been in spots throughout his career, he's 29 years old and he does have a lot of mileage. And I don't think they predicted themselves that Herbert would be ready this early in his career, but he's showing it on the field. And so we've already seen Damian Williams is cast aside. Like he's basically been chucked in the recycle bin. And there was still waiting for Cohen to come back. We don't know if Cohen's going to come back. He's every time we think, oh, Cohen might be back, he has some kind of setback. So it's Khalil Herbert and until Monty comes back, and then I think it's going to be like a two-headed monster to keep Monty fresh, because they were giving him a lot of work before he got hurt.
Well, and plus receiving upside with Herbert. That's the biggest thing for me is that even when Dave Montgomery comes back, they're still going to use him in the passing game.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's proven himself to be worthy.
Yep. And this is a week where I think, like I was speaking to earlier, a smart coach is going to focus on the shorter, quick, because that offensive line's so bad, get the ball out of his hands. Herbert plays huge into that this week.
And I mean, running it back with like a Deebo Samuel this week, that just seems really sexy.
Yeah.
Like the Bears part about it's kind of gross, but like you can throw in Deebo, you can throw in Cooper Kupp, Derrick Henry, you can throw in every chalky piece of ass you want, and they're going to score points for you. And then if in the off chance Fields has his breakout game against a pretty bad 49ers secondary, with no Matt, I can't stress enough, no Matt Nagy this week. It's like, I hope he's okay. I hope COVID doesn't kick his ass, but I'm so happy he's not anywhere near this team because they seem to, as soon as he gave away the play calling to Bill Lazor, they played better. And so just imagine what happened with a complete separation, as in they fired him like they should have a year and a half ago.
So I'm really excited about this stack, but I do think that this is the one that it's a little playing with fire because if Fields shits the bed again or anything, just doesn't show up. I mean, you're dead in the water from jump. So this is a riskier stack, but I think it's a really good leverage play on the field. So
this is a Millie Maker stack if I've ever seen one.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't care if I lose, but if I win, it's going to be epic because a winning Millie Maker lineup should make you want to throw up in your mouth.
That's how you win in DFS, man. It's not always the sexy picks and the big names.
Save the sexy for cash games.
Yep. I agree. All right, guys.
And then the last guy that I did want to talk about though, because Bo brought him up and we'll keep it quick, but I am fading Derrick Henry this week. Pretty much outright. And I'll tell you why I'm fading Derrick Henry pretty much outright is I think that Nick Chubb has a lot of upside, and he's $2,000 cheaper than Derrick Henry. So hear my logic, and you guys can fight me for a second on it, but it allows me to stack some higher end wide receivers. It allows me to even stack some more mid-tier running backs. You can do some pretty nice things in the middle with Nick Chubb, James Robinson, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon are all right there in that $7,000, $6,000 range. You don't need to go up and spend $2,000 more on Derrick Henry, $1,800 more on Alvin Kamara. Yeah, they have the potential to score you 25, 30 points,
40. But
then you've also got to dip down and lose those points somewhere else. So I'm just saying, don't be afraid to fade the big stars in the field. Sometimes playing the middle can give you an upside.
I agree with you in principle, but this isn't the week to fade Derrick Henry because he's trending to under 15% rostership, and if Derrick Henry is under 30%, you better believe you're all over that 40+ point upside. We're talking about nobody else in the running back position is going to score you 40 points in any given week, maybe besides Christian McCaffrey. But Derrick Henry's on that list. It's a very short list. None of those guys you mentioned at sub 7,000 are capable of putting up that ceiling. And so I will eat the chalk, not heavily, but I'm not outright fading Derrick Henry this week just because too many people already are.
Yeah, and I didn't say completely. I said almost completely. I'm going to play some Henry. Don't get me wrong. You have to. But I do think that, and to your point, I think a lot of less sharp people are going to see Derrick Henry's been doing X, Y, and Z, and he's been smashing. I'm going to plug him in, and then they're not going to be able to make some pivots down the board to make a decent lineup. So I'm just saying, if your lineup is uncomfortable and it's because you got Derrick Henry in there, don't be afraid to pay down a little bit. There are some running backs that can give you some value.
Oh, something in my throat.
Sounds like Jonathan Taylor's in your throat.
Wow.
Whoa.
I didn't say it.
This is a family show, Nate.
Because I'm not the one who's dropping F-bombs, folks.
Hey, I only dropped one. I get one a show.
You get one, Connor gets one. I get apparently an accidentally crude reference at the very end. So there you go. All right,
I
guys.
crossed mine after I thought we were off the air. Okay, and that was weeks
That's
ago.
true. That's true. That's true. Okay, so we're all squared up now. We're good. Let's just move forward. All right, guys. So thanks for tuning in. We're about 35 minutes into the show. We want to give you some time to set your lineups. You've got 23 minutes to get everything right. So go out there, get it done. For myself, for Mr. Hot Sauce, Bo McBigtime, and for Conor Coughlin over there, Cough DFS. Good luck this weekend. Go out, win those matchups, make some money, and we'll see you next weekend.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.